James Corbett of CorbettReport.com with your Sunday update for this 20th day of February 2011. And now for the real news. In our top story this week, Ray McGovern, a 27-year veteran of the CIA and 72-year-old peace activist, was brutally arrested and manhandled by police after attempting a silent protest of Secretary of State Hillary Clinton during a speech at George Washington University.
Millions worldwide answered in real time, "You are not alone, and we are with you." Then the government pulled the plug. Cell phone service was cut off, TV satellite signals were jammed, and internet access was blocked for nearly the entire population.
So this is America.
The government
This
did
is
not
America.
want the
Who are
people
you?
to communicate with each other, and it did not want the press to communicate with the public.
As many observers are noting, the irony of an elderly man being arrested for a silent protest during a speech in which Clinton was extolling the actions of the recent Egyptian protesters in their fight for democracy seems completely lost on Clinton herself, who continued with her prepared remarks as if nothing at all had just taken place in front of her. In the face of a complete lack of mainstream media coverage of the incident and the total unwillingness of major media personalities to even seek comment from the agencies involved, citizen media has once again had to step up to fill in the void. In a series of videos released this week, YouTube user Sure911 has released recordings of phone calls he made to the Washington police and the State Department asking questions about the event.
Information Center, Officer Pappas, I can help you.
Hi, I was just calling to inquire about an incident I was reading on the internet just now. It has to do concerning Hillary Clinton's speech at the university yesterday. And was there a man, a veteran CIA officer, that was roughed up, beaten, and left in jail bleeding?
That I don't know.
Do you know if there was a gentleman named Ray McGovern put in jail yesterday?
That I am not aware of.
Is there anybody that would know about this?
Not here. That would be a federal issue. You could probably try over there.
Would you have a phone number I could call?
To who? To the FBI?
Well, it says here in the article I'm reading, it says Secretary Hillary Clinton gave her speech at George Washington University yesterday, condemning governments that arrested protesters, blah blah blah. 71-year-old Ray McGovern was grabbed from the audience in plain view of her by police and an unidentified official in plain clothes, brutalized and left bleeding in jail. And there's pictures of him, and he's really roughed up.
Well, I don't know, sir. I mean, I guess it depends on how credible the issue is that you're reading. I don't know.
Well, I mean, I know Ray McGovern is a veteran CIA officer. He has spoke out against Rumsfeld, etc. before. He's a very good man, sir. I don't understand this. Like, what's going on over there?
I don't know. Maybe Officer Sukel might know.
Hello?
Hi, is this Jeffrey Hill?
Yes, it is.
Hi, Jeffrey. This is Leslie with the State Department returning your call.
Hello?
What can I do for you?
Oh, I was just wondering if anybody was going to be putting out a statement about what happened with ex-CIA analyst Ray McGovern at Hillary Clinton's speech at George Washington University.
I don't know the man's background, but I can tell you that would be a matter for GW University to address.
So Hillary Clinton doesn't plan on putting out a statement or anything concerning that?
Not that I'm aware of.
Mr. McGovern appeared on Press TV late last week to talk about the incident and its ramifications.
Right, Mr. McGovern, what happened after they dragged you out? From what we understand, you were put in jail and you were left bleeding for quite a while. And also, please elaborate for our viewers, what was the stance that you were trying to make?
Well, the stance that I was making is that Hillary Clinton is a person who has been an admirer of every war she's heard of. She was a great supporter of the Iraq War, even though she knew better because I told her what a catastrophe it would be. She's a great supporter of the Afghanistan War, where many thousands of people have met their deaths. And she's in the forefront of agitating for war on Iran. And that comes through in her speech here. I was amazed after I was released from prison and was able to go to the hospital and get my wounds bound. This is still bleeding here. I ruined another pair of pants. I read the speech, and it was quite remarkable. It was a speech about protests. And she is saying here in this speech, and I'll just quote 2 or 3 sentences here. She says, Iran this week, this is a direct quote, Iran this week is once again using violence against protesters seeking basic freedoms. Okay? People protest. They stand and they march and chant, and the authorities track them and block them and arrest them. Now, she is saying this 3 paragraphs after she stood silently watching me in the 4th row being pounced upon by these goons and unceremoniously ejected from the auditorium. There was something Kafkaesque about this.
In related news, activists affiliated with We Are Change New York and We Are Change Oklahoma have made headlines with a series of videos confronting neocon war criminal Dick Cheney and neocon war enablers Newt Gingrich and David Horowitz behind the scenes at this year's Conservative Political Action Conference in Washington, D.C.
You're putting us in it's the only thing I have to do. And you said Patriots who question 9/11 are insane, but I think what you do at the Bohemian Grove is pretty insane. Do you have any comment?
Dude, why do you support the Patriot Act when it eviscerates the Bill of Rights?
So what'd you do at the Bohemian Grove? Dude, situational. You could politely talk. That's all you have to do.
Are you being
Mr.
polite?
Dick Cheney, we know what you did on 9/11 when you did the stand-down orders. Norman Mineta testified against you on the 9/11 Commission report. Mr. Cheney, we know what happened on 9/11.
Everybody out there.
President, after you guys, a bunch of small animals being released. We know what you did on 9/11 with your stand-down orders. You won't get away with it.
If you knew that the plane was headed on the Pentagon,
why'd you do the stand-down orders?
Thank you for all you've done for our country. Thank you.
You're a terrorist. You're a terrorist.
Thank you.
Young Americans for Freedom love you.
In related news, Ron Paul was the decisive winner of the CPAC straw poll this year as the most favored presidential candidate of the Republican Party for the 2nd year in a row. This accolade, historically an indicator of which candidate would go on to take the Republican nomination for the presidential candidacy, is being opposed by the neocon elements of the Republican Party, including the Young Americans for Freedom, who have officially repudiated Ron Paul and his supporters, and Karl Rove, who went on Fox News attempting to convince the majority of Republicans that they were wrong to support someone who does not believe in wars of aggression, torture, government spying, and debt-based money manipulated by international financiers. The deception extends even to the coverage of Ron Paul's victory at the CPAC conference, which Fox News tried to downplay by swapping the thunderous applause from the 2011 vote results with manipulated audio from the 2010 announcement of his win.
The winner of this year's CPAC straw poll is now, okay. Well, the winner of this year's CPAC straw poll is Texas Congressman Ron Paul.
In the end, he was the winner. Probably not the reaction he was hoping for when you name a favorite to run for the White House. Mixed applause and boos as Ron Paul was announced over the weekend. The fiery Texas Republican, no doubt unfazed by the reaction. He's live with me now from Capitol Hill, winner of that straw poll for the 2nd year in a row. How you doing, sir? Congressman
I'm
Ron
doing
Paul.
fine.
Welcome
I'm
back
doing fine,
here.
thank you.
So who was in the audience booing you? Did you get a name on the? Did you get an ID on those people?
No, I wasn't there, so I didn't watch that little ceremony at the end.
The winner of the straw poll.
during a live introduction to Congressman Ron Paul on Tuesday, America's Newsroom incorrectly aired a clip from the 2010 CPAC event in Washington rather than this year's event. It was clearly a mistake. We used the wrong videotape. There are similarities in the shot between last year's event and this year. 2011, screen left, 2010, screen right. Ron Paul won both years. However, there were audible boos in 2010, while you heard a lot more cheering this year. It's an honest mistake. We apologize for the error, and we look forward to having Representative Paul back on our program very soon.
In other activist news, We Are Change LA has once again confronted Bill Maher, host of the popular Real Time program on HBO, who last week was once again disparaging members of the 9/11 Truth Movement on the show. Just as happened during We Are Change's 2007 infiltration of the program, the activist in question was physically assaulted by show security for daring to point out the hypocrisies of the host and show panel.
Where it's never going to happen. Dad, shut up!
Does this happen for you?
That went better in rehearsal, I gotta say. That was a...
It remains to be seen whether the courageous and heroic activism of Ray McGovern and the members of We Are Change will mark the beginning of a rise of genuine citizen journalism-led political activism, or whether the corporate government foundation media nexus will prevail and keep would-be activists focused on matters of no significance whatsoever or endlessly infighting with each other instead of taking the initiative to begin exposing the lies of government officials by themselves. Now please go to CorbettReport.com to download the MP3 audio of episode 176 of the Corbett Report podcast, 30 Ways You Are Being Spied On.